The screen fades in with the warm glow of a streetlight flickering over a quiet Los Angeles night. The camera glides past the fancy stores of Beverly Hills, the same streets where a story began decades ago. The sound of soft piano notes plays in the background, slow and gentle, almost like a heartbeat remembering something it once loved. A red dress swings lightly on a hanger in a dimly lit room, its fabric moving as if stirred by memories. A narrator speaks calmly, almost in a whisper, as we see a silhouette of a woman stepping into the light, never showing her face, only her outline. Some stories stay with us, the voice says. Some love never fades, even when time tries to pull it away. The camera cuts to a sleek black limo rolling through the night, the same kind Edward Lewis once rode. Inside, we see the silhouette of a man straightening his tie, his hands steady, but his breath heavy with thought. No face, no identity, only presence. The visuals shift to a pair of hands touching an old photograph. The picture is blurred, never fully visible, but the emotion is clear. It is the memory of a life once changed by love. The narrator continues, years have passed, dreams have changed, but the heart remembers where it was found. Soft lights shimmer over the skyline as the camera rises above the city. A single rose rests on a balcony rail, petals glowing in the night. A gentle breeze lifts the petals just enough to show their softness. He built an empire, the narrator says, and she built a life of her own. But some connections, no matter how far they travel, are never truly broken. We dissolve to the image of a grand hotel lobby, empty except for the echo of footsteps. The sound feels familiar, almost nostalgic, like a moment from the past trying to return. A gloved hand opens a door, revealing a room washed in golden light. A shadow steps inside, slowly, carefully, as though stepping back into a life once left behind. Then, a title card appears with soft lighting, Pretty Woman 2. The journey begins. The narrator's voice deepens, carrying the weight of time. This is where the story picks up again. Not where it ended, but where destiny chooses to begin anew. Before the scene fades, we see one last image, two people standing apart, silhouettes facing each other across a quiet street. The distance between them feels charged, like the start of something powerful, like fate calling them back. A sudden shift in tone hits as the screen opens on a quiet penthouse overlooking Los Angeles. The night is calm, but there is a heaviness in the air, like a storm waiting behind the glass. Papers lie scattered across a long table, contracts, headlines, unread messages. A hand enters the frame, steady but tense, gathering the papers as if trying to hold together something already slipping apart. The narrator's voice lowers, carrying a new weight. Success brings comfort, but it also brings shadows. The camera moves through the empty penthouse rooms, each one echoing with silence. No footsteps, no laughter, only the hum of the city below. A single lamp flickers, casting a tall, sharp silhouette that feels unfamiliar, almost threatening. Cut to a boardroom. Again, faces are hidden. Only suits, only hands tapping against the table. Only the glow of a projector showing numbers dropping on a chart. A man's outline stands at the front, shoulders tight, head lowered. The narrator continues, Edward Lewis built an empire with confidence, but now, that empire stands on shaky ground. A contract slides across the table. Another hand pushes it back. Tension crackles through the room like static. The scene shifts to a train window. Rain sliding down the glass in slow streams. A woman's silhouette sits alone, staring out at the blur of lights rushing past. She holds a small envelope in her hands, unopened. Her posture is calm, but her fingers tremble. Vivian changed her world, the narrator says softly. She grew, she healed, she found a voice. But the world she left behind hasn't forgotten her. The envelope slips slightly open, revealing only a hint of something inside, a name, maybe, or a place. But it closes before we see more. The train slows, lights flashing across her silhouette like pieces of a puzzle falling out of order. Life has a way of circling back. The narrator continues, not to repeat the past, but to test what we've become. We cut to a newspaper spinning onto a desk. The headline is blurred, but the words scandal, corporate threat, and return stand out just enough to raise questions. A shadowy figure picks it up, crushes it slightly in frustration, then tosses it aside. A sudden montage begins, quick, sharp images, a locked office door, a phone vibrating unanswered, a suitcase closing, security lights flashing in a dark hallway, a rose lying on the ground, crushed under someone's hurried step. The narrator's voice deepens. Something is pulling them back into the chaos. Something bigger than love, bigger than fear. Then the camera slowly zooms into a window overlooking the city, two silhouettes arguing in the distance, their movements tense but silent. We cannot hear their words, only the emotion carried through their motions. A hand slams onto a railing. Another turns away. The space between them widens. The narrator adds, this time, the danger isn't the world that kept them apart, but the one they built together. As the music drops into a low, unsettling tone, the screen fades to black. A single line appears, every love story faces its test. Asterisk, the screen opens on a window streaked with rain, each drop sliding downward like a quiet memory trying to find its way home. The room behind the glass is dim, almost colorless, with only the soft glow of streetlights slipping through the curtains. A faint echo of footsteps pauses somewhere far below, distant, unsteady, fading to quickly. The narrator speaks with a slow, aching tone. Even the strongest love can be shaken, not by strangers but by the storms we hold inside. Cut to a scene of two silhouettes standing on opposite sides of a wide room. No faces, no words, only silence stretching between them like an invisible wall. Papers lie scattered around them, letters, schedules, broken notes of things they promised to fix. A glass sits on the table, half full, untouched. The air feels tight, heavy, as if something important has already slipped away. The woman's silhouette steps back, turning slightly toward the window. Her outline trembles just enough to feel real. The man's silhouette takes one step forward, then freezes, as if the floor itself has become uncertain. The narrator continues, they once chased each other through chaos, but now they are drifting apart in the quiet. The scene shifts sharply. A restaurant table sits empty, candles burn low. A chair pulled back as if someone left in a hurry. A soft violin plays in the background, broken halfway through a melody. A folded note rests beside a single rose. The camera zooms in just enough for us to read a few words. I thought we understood. The rest remains blurred, lost. Next, we see a narrow hallway. Shadows stretch long across the floor, and the sound of a door closing echoes like a final decision. A suitcase wheels across the tiles, only a silhouette, only motion. Sometimes, the narrator says, we run not because we want to, but because staying feels too painful. Cut to a stormy night street. The wind blows a piece of paper across the pavement. It's the same torn letter from earlier, drifting helplessly. Two silhouettes walk past each other on opposite sides of the road, not seeing, not speaking. Their paths crossing for only a second, a cruel reminder that closeness does not always mean connection. A slow montage follows, a hand wiping away tears in the dark. A man staring at an empty closet. A woman clutching a necklace she once treasured. An elevator door closing on a silhouette. A taxi pulling away too fast. The narrator drops to a whisper. Love does not always break loudly. Sometimes, it fades in soft pieces. The music lowers, almost disappearing, replaced by the sound of distant thunder. In a final haunting image, we see two silhouettes standing on separate rooftops, facing the same sky but living to different storms. Their distance feels impossible to cross, like fate itself has stepped between them. The screen slowly darkens, leaving only a single line glowing softly. Some hearts drift apart before they learn how to return. Asterisk, lightning flashes across the sky as the screen opens on a dimly lit street. Raindrops crash against the pavement, glowing under the glow of street lamps. The storm feels wild, restless, like the world itself is begging for something to change. A silhouette stands at the edge of the sidewalk, soaked but unmoving, as if waiting for courage to catch up with the heart. The narrator's voice returns, deeper now, filled with a quiet fire. When love is pushed to its breaking point, there comes a moment when we choose to fight or we choose to lose, and some hearts refuse to give up. Cut to the inside of a limo. The man's silhouette sits alone, hands clenched tightly on his knees. The low rumble of thunder echoes against the windows. Papers, once the source of chaos, lie torn on the seat beside him. He breathes deeply, the kind of breath someone takes right before a leap. Edward once spent his life walking away from everything,